All right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened, but my whole thing got messed up. For whoever's here still. I don't think anybody is yet, but... Yo, can you guys hear me? All right. There we go. Now I'm live. So let me share this. Yo, so what I wanted to talk about was bonds. So look at this, guys. Wow, the Fed is, I mean, the bond market is pushing right now. But one of the things I've been calling out for so long now is this TLT trade, okay? When the Fed is ready to cut rates, and when the Fed's ready to cut rates, the number one thing that you want to look at is bond yields and bond prices, because when the Fed cuts rates, yields drop, right? And when the yields drop, the prices of bonds go up. They're inversely correlated. So if the stock market is going to top, right, when the Fed starts cutting rates, because historically it does, and you have money sitting in cash, what is another opportunity that might be better than cash, or at least taking a portion of your cash to earn some interest? In my opinion, that's bonds. Because when the Fed cuts rates after a tightening cycle, yields drop, bond prices rocket. So you can invest in ETFs like TLT. This tracks the 20-year Treasury bond ETF. And then you can also invest in things like SHY, which track to the 1 to 3 year Treasury bonds. That's another really good one in my opinion. And yeah, these are historical levels. Like look at this drop that we've had since 2020 on SHY. Look at the drop that we've had since 2020 on TLT. When we have market crashes and recessions, historically those are the best times to invest in things like this. So like in 2007, when we had I'm looking at September, June, July, August, September. In September of 2007, when we had the last recession, look at the massive move we had on bonds, on bond prices. That's a massive return. In 2020, that was that's when the Fed actually started. Well, we cut rates to 0, but then we were hiking all the way through 2020. There was a stock market crash in 2018. And look what happened to bonds. There was a recession. Look what happened to bonds here. In 2000, well, this ETF didn't go at that point. But basically, when we have a tightening cycle, investing in bonds is a pretty good idea, in my opinion. So enough of the boring stuff now. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, we might get a slight pullback when yields drop really quickly before I go to the next thing. I might get a slight pullback, but ultimately I think this is a good thing to be holding for the next like 1 to 2 years, if not longer. But I think we're at minimum going to go up to this internal high right here at 120.69. 420.69, close to it. But yeah, I think this is going to be like the ultimate target. Did I post on X? Hold on, guys. Yeah, my internet's going so slow again. Okay, I'm back, guys. So Jackson Hole, we talked about it already, but throughout the day, a bunch of Fed speakers are going to be talking. Did we just leave? Did we make equal highs here? No, we didn't. Guys, I'm obsessed with equal highs, as you know. We traded into this fair value gap right here, and now we're rejecting. Pretty crazy. But look at this move that we had during Jackson Hole. Yeah, so what could happen here, guys? Two different things can happen. This fair value gap right here can be rebalanced. I mean, it's already been almost balanced. We have a little bit left right here. We could come out, take sell side, and then continue higher if we inverse this fair value gap. Let's label that as a purple IFEG. So guys, we have this IFEG on the 3-minute and the 2-minute. So there's a potential that we can come up and get a setup here, but it's a really tough spot. Definitely a tough spot to be in. That's not saying it lightly. But this could be the spot to short. Let's see if we have any equal lows anywhere. Not really. No equal lows that I see, guys, honestly. Let's go to the 1-minute quick, just in case I'm missing something. Yeah, guys, so I don't see any equal lows on the charts. I don't see anything that really catches my eye. Did we miss any equal lows? No, we didn't. Oh, guys. We got the IFEG. You can, in theory, you guys can take this right now. As a 1-to-1 trade, honestly, I would let it be. Should have already taken it right there. I would hold longs up to this buy side right here. So I would move your stop to break even as soon as this high hit right here. But this is that was a long. I think this is a long, and your stop would be a close back below this. Let's check. Just want to make sure there's no SMT with ES. Let's look at it on the 2-minute. If it would load. Oh, I'm missing it. Yeah, so there's no SMT yet, so that's good. But once, like for example, if ES takes its high first, or this internal high, I would move your stop to break even on NQ. Vice versa, if you're long ES, I would move your stop to break even once NQ hits the high. Just be super careful. But yeah, this was like a obvious 2022 model for ICT traders. So once we close above it, you know, it's pretty high likelihood that we're going to at least go up to this internal high to stop out anyone that's short. And this is a daily volume imbalance, so keep that in mind. It's a place with a lot of strength. We've already rejected from it. If you look back on the 15-minute, we rejected, I mean, we didn't exactly reject the daily volume imbalance, but we did here, as you can see. But this could easily act as a resistance for price. Let's look at the hourly. Ooh. So I'm actually going to delete this just for the sake of us. We've already rebalanced it, so I don't think it's as important anymore. But this is that 1 hour fair value gap that we might tap into. So that would be like a target for longs as well. Let's make sure that ES didn't take its high yet. No, it didn't. So be very careful, guys, for potential SMT here. But yeah. Hey guys, if you're long, just be patient. Ah. So guys, it should be coming now. Careful and watch ES as well at the same time. And boom. There's your trade. Stop to break even here. If you have more than one contract, you can take a partial here as well. So guys, I would also potentially take a partial at the top of this 1 hour fair value gap. At the bottom of it, I mean, I told you that's this internal high. So be very careful if you're in shorts. Okay, that's a nice candle close there on the 1 minute. So I took that IFEG from the 2 minute, guys. I may or may not have done that in a live account. Just the saying. And I may or may not have taken a partial at this internal high, like I said. May or may not have, I repeat. And I may or may not take a full position off at this buy side liquidity if we get it. May or may not. So right now we do have an SMT with ES. I don't think this one is that important, to be honest, but could be. So just be cautious. Let's look at, wow, Tesla's going crazy. Tesla's at 220. Let's check. Nothing's happening yet. Dude, look at Tesla. It's just ripping. Wow, AVGO is going crazy too. That's awesome to see. SOXL with a 9% day. Okay, nothing's happening yet with NQ. Hold on, guys. Celsius with a 3% day. CrowdStrike doing nice. Kind of consolidating here. This is one that I'm going to be taking off pretty soon. I want this 285 level. I think it came from an hourly chart, maybe. No. Did it come from a weekly chart? Yeah, the weekly chart. It's the gap that formed on the weekly. And it's also a volume imbalance. Where did I draw it as a fair value gap from? The weekly? Was it the hourly maybe? I don't know. I don't know where this gap came from, but on the weekly I want this daily volume imbalance. Yo, what's up, guys? If you're new, just comment who you are and how you got to this channel or what you do. Are you an investor, a long-term trader? Have you been here before? I need some, I need somebody to talk to. This chat's kind of boring right now. Also, if you have any stocks that you want me to look at, let me know. I can analyze them for you. But right now we're looking at CrowdStrike. I bought this at 235, 218, and 206, I think. And I'm going to be taking off my position at this volume imbalance. Starbucks we offloaded when we had that massive rip. Super unprepared for it, but I was adding all throughout this whole consolidation. UPS is one that I'm looking to add soon, but I'm not going to add it until we get into this monthly volume imbalance. Yo, if you're in this chat right now, apart from Bob, because Bob is he's loyal and he comments every single time he's in a video. But if you're in this chat right now, just let me know who you are. What type of an investor are you? Are you a day trader, long-term investor? What do you do? If you've been in the chat before, just let me know so I know who you are. But need some topics of conversation here, guys. Ulta's another one that we added like crazy. When Buffett was buying, which was crazy that he basically caught this sell-side liquidity. And he used this to inject a lot of money into the stock because a lot of people were selling this and he was buying it. And in order for him to buy a massive amount of shares, there have to be sellers. And one of the ways that they do that in the markets is the algorithms drive price to an area where a lot of people have a stop loss. So a lot of people had a stop loss at this monthly low, labeled also known as sell-side liquidity. So when it hit, he was able to fill a lot of buy orders. And now I think ultimately we're going to go to all three of these green levels. So this monthly fair value gap has a low of 421.21. So that's where I think at minimum we're going to go. And then the 50% level of this fair value gap is 461. So I'm going to be taking partials at those 2 points personally. Shopify is another one that I'm in that's doing nicely. I'm going to take partials off here at 91.57. And then probably a little bit off at 77 and 83 at these buy-side liquidity points. My goodness, nothing is going right with NQ. I'm going to get stopped out on this second half probably. If we get a close back below this IFEG, then I'm going to get stopped on the second half of the position. A partial was taken at this internal high. So if we get stopped at break even here, or if we get stopped at break even, it's probably going to be a break even trade because it'll be a win on this portion of the move and then a loss on this portion of the move. So it'll probably be like a zero-sum trade, which is okay. It's part of the game. You can't get emotional, can't get upset about it. Yeah. And also, guys, if you look, there's an SMT here with ES and NQ. Do you see that? How ES made a lower high and NQ made a higher high? That's also a pretty bearish sign. This is that Jackson Hole candle. So we might even get a trade back to the data low of this candle set. So right here, we can label that as data low. So guys, if we close, ooh, wow. So guys, I'm actually going to close the position right here because we just got a 1 minute close below this fair value gap, which makes this an IFEG. So I am now out of the position for a win, but it's a small win because my entry was right here. So I got a partial here on one contract and I got stopped on the second contract right here. So basically a break-even trade, guys. But now that that has happened, I think we're probably going to go back down to this low. So your next trade, if you haven't taken a trade yet, I mean, you could enter here for a little bit of a better risk, but your entry would be there. Stop would be a close back above the IFEG. And your stop to break even would be at this low, and then I would take your profits here, and then I would also take profits here, and then final take profit at the data low. All right, guys, let's see if we get it now. We might get a retracement back into the fair value gap, but once we hit this low, I would move your stop to break even. If we get it, we might not. But it's nice because it's an SMT. It's not in a macro time. Why are my macro times not showing up? With my macros. Was it? Are they only? Do they only show up on the 1 minute or something? Oh, there we go. Visibility. No, they should show up. We've got the 950 to 1010, the 1050 to 11.